This conference will now be recorded.
Calling the meeting of the Airport Advisory Commission at 2 o'clock for August the 1st, or for the month of August. We'll have to change where we are on this from large to small conference room, and it's not Andrea Smith certainly. So we'll fix all that. What I'd like to do is have a roll call first, please.
Oh, that's me, sorry. Mike Espiritu,
Here.
Sean Powell,
Here.
Matt McDonald,
Here.
John Hitchcock,
Here.
sorry,
Here.
and Bud Kunkel.
Here.
We have quorum.
Okay, thank you. All right, everybody's got a copy of the agenda. We've already got some things that we know we're gonna have to address on that. If you look under non-action items, item number D, revenue and expenses, we reported the June stuff last month, John, and we don't have July.
I don't recall.
It was reported. I wasn't at the meeting. That's what we're reporting.
We don't have July.
And then on, we have 4 action items on leases, and those leases somehow did not get to our city attorney, and so he hasn't had a chance to look at those. According to Jennifer, none of those are critical right now. So I think that we can, if we want to, we can talk about them, but the attorney can't bless them today, because he hasn't had a chance to look at them. So those are the items that, unless somebody's got a significant objection to that, we'll need to delete them from the agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we table the 4 action items concerning the 4 leases until for next meeting. So the city attorney has proper time to review and provide recommendations to the
Do I hear a second to that?
Second.
All those in favor signify so by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Revenue and expenses, do I hear a motion on that, since the June revenue expenses last month, but we don't have July?
So moved.
Second? All those in favor signify so by saying aye. All opposed? Motion carries. So those items are removed from today's agenda. Does anybody else have any other questions or comments on the agenda before we move to approve the agenda? Seeing none, the chair will entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
First, second by Commissioner McDonald. Any comments? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the agenda as amended, signify so by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All right, minutes from the July 11 meeting. Everybody's had a chance to look at those. Are there any corrections or additions to the minutes as presented? Seeing none, do I hear a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
First and second by Commissioner Espiritu. All those in favor signify so by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Minutes are approved. Okay, we have a report that's going to be provided by Mr. Bull Johnson with Cavu Aerospace. And Bull, if you would proceed to enlighten us, please.
So I've been asked to present an overview of the company and in particular our Roswell operations. Cavu Aerospace headquarters in Stuttgart, Arkansas. We have operations with people in 5 states and a couple of mobile teams that primarily do dismantle, tear down, and reclamation of end-of-life aircraft. Here in Roswell, we operate 3 major components. We have about 50 employees who are engaged in both dismantle, which is taking valued items off of the aircraft, the reclamation piece, which is destroying the airframes after the material's been removed, and we have a storage and light maintenance operation under a FAA Part 145 repair station. Average wage is about 25 with benefits included. Again, we have about 50 employees here. We have quite a few entry level jobs where those folks can come out, start with some basic mechanical knowledge, and by running it, I have some people who have gone back to the EMP school in New York. And the other way we do that is through the apprenticeship program set up through the regulations. So if they do 36 months and they document everything, they can end up being able to test for airframe power plant license, which gains them a considerable increase in pay with us because we use certificated mechanics on our repair stations. Retention's pretty good here. Most of the folks are local and don't seem to want to leave. As far as the business, we've had somewhere in the neighborhood of 4 years of 400% growth in the company's had footprint here for 9 years. So it's been pretty lucrative for CAVU to be here. And we feel like we're well supported for the most part by the community, county, city, EDC. Don't really have any issues there other than the typical getting the process done type thing. We look to maintain footprint here, not interested in leaving. And we're looking at some other small customers, which will increase our level of employment. We're in the process of reviewing pay scales because prices are going up for talent maintenance people. So we're looking at that.
So I've got a couple of questions. One, you said 25, so that's $25 an hour.
Yes, sir.
That's an average wage,
That's an average wage.
and you've got 50 people, so how many of those people are say around $18 to $20 an hour?
So probably at 18 to 20 an hour, I'd say 35 to 40% of our employees, because the tear down usually most of that level.
Doesn't require
Right.
advanced.
Yeah, that's the kind of entry level's 15, and it kind of works its way over.
Okay. I'd like to compliment Bull. He's worked, I think, especially well with the airport staff, specifically in reference to some issues that they've had out there on their building. And even when we, as a city, have not been able to accommodate things as quickly as we had hoped that we could, he's hung in there with us and has treated the airport staff, I think, pretty fairly out there. Is that a good way to put that, Bull?
I try to. I think we can get a whole lot more done by not being head-butting contests. So try to work through problems and do what we can. Some of it is certainly, buildings are pretty old. There's quality of life issue for my folks involved in it.
Right.
So while we're working out, we'll typically go ahead and fix something, that air conditioning, that kind of thing. And then we can always discuss how we get through that balanced out later. So, you know, I don't have everything else out there. It's been kind of an act of God. You're not going to do anything like that.
Well, we can work,
Leaks and hangers and that kind of thing.
we can work through those things. We need to be as expeditious as we can in doing that, because it impacts your ability to conduct business. But everybody's facilities out there, everybody's facilities are older, and we can't fix them all at once. So, any other questions for Bill? Well, thank you. We appreciate your.
More welcome. Thanks for having me come down here.
All right. Thank you. Okay, Jennifer, you're on board. Let's start with item number 6 and we'll go through the procedures.
So the passenger boardings for June as well as June of last year seem to be the same number,
Ah.
around 605. That seems kind of strange, but okay. So for, I guess the total's not even correct.
If those two are the same, I would think the total would be about the same, right? Whose chart is that? What do you think, Lisa?
Well, I'm not sure, because there's a color missing. Oh, because they don't have it,
We don't
never
have-
mind,
we don't
okay,
have a
never mind.
Phoenix route.
Yeah, I don't know, I'll have to check the configuration.
Well, let's look at that, because if our incoming and outgoing passenger counts are the same, then
Well, I mean, that's not the same. So this is saying 22 is 5,400, but it's saying DFW is 36, and it's saying total. It's gonna be the same because there's no Phoenix, so that is right.
okay,
So that's what that is, okay.
all right.
And parking. Our parking, we are down 46 aircraft from last year. So to date, we have 228. And last year we had 274. Next slide,
Well,
please.
228
228, yeah.
is fairly stable across there. And
Mhm.
it's down a few, but that's,
Yeah.
I think that looks to be,
It looks like we're staying where we're,
yeah.
so far this
200
year anyway.
230, give or take,
Yeah,
looks to be a pretty good average. Okay,
And for our reports, the whole bar project began last night. And we're working on the main runway. We anticipate that being done by Monday of next week. And then we'll flip and we'll do 1735. And that one's all paint, so that should take 3 to 4 days.
define for us what hold bars is.
It's for the aircraft stop.
It's a stop sign.
So that's both on the runway and in signage?
The thermoplastics are being put on the ends of the
Okay,
so yeah, the project was slated for 21 days, but the contractor believes that we added it.
okay.
And we have been working with Kalu and AirSail to get aircraft in and out when the main runway is closed when they bring heavies in. So we did come out last night at 10 o'clock and took the barriers down and let the aircraft fly out. And then this morning, we all needed an engine run. We got that done.
So where do you have to go run his engine?
I put them on the main runway and put the thrust towards the
Yeah.
two end.
Okay, all right,
The contractor started on the other end, so the south hammer really wasn't a good
good
option.
fit, okay.
Okay, then the state appropriations project, Lewis is still working to get some figures so we can see whether we can continue with the southeast water line. And, we're actually working on phase 2 and 3, because he wants to see if there's enough money available under that state grant, to finish the project. We have 1 year left on that grant too.
So we're just waiting on Lewis to come up with numbers.
Yes, and he was anticipating having something, by today, but he has not heard back.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman, Jennifer, who is doing those, sending those numbers? Who's getting those numbers?
Which numbers?
The ones for the water project in the phase 2. Who's coming up with this?
Lewis Nehar, our city engineer.
He's gonna come up with the numbers himself? Or is he-
He's working,
Mr. Chairman, can I ask a question about that?
go ahead.
So how long has Lewis had this in his hands?
maybe a week and a half.
When do you expect to receive the numbers?
We expected them today. He had given them till today to, get the numbers to me. I checked with him this morning and he hadn't.
If you'll call me and let me know that those have taken place, I'd appreciate it.
Sure.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You bet.
Mr. Chairman, one other question, Jennifer, with this project, can one of the local telecom providers put in, once the trench is open, once it's awarded, the trench is open, can we do that instead of
Start putting the
losing?
fiber in that.
I just don't want to lose out on that opportunity that we did on phase one.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The baggage claim, we're still waiting for a proposal back from Swanson Rink. We talked to them on Zoom and kind of gave an idea of what we were looking at. So just waiting for them to receive that proposal.
Have they physically been to the facility?
They have not been to the facility as of yet, but they have diagrams of the areas.
And we did some video for them or something? So they
They-
can see what we've got?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, the New Mexico DOT project, we did get the BLM taxiway, $5.5 million. So,
When will that start?
we come up with $5.5 million to put in.
I think you said you had,
And we got a grant.
It's a 50/50.
you got the money.
No, it's 100%. It's 100% grant. We just need to come up with money. So I'm waiting for our budget to be approved so we
We
can
have
sit
to have the
down.
money in hand.
Yeah.
I did.
Somebody told us we're getting it, but that doesn't mean
Okay.
we've got it.
That did, you said you got the grant, but we gotta get the money.
We have a grant for that.
So you have it funded, you just don't have money in the
Yeah.
pot.
And once the budget has been approved, we'll sit down and start.
Will that affect any runaway clause?
No.
Sorry, Mr. Yeah, so we have to accept, the grant has to be accepted and then we have to do a budget amendment. And then they can put out the RFP or whatever.
So Jennifer, once the work is actually awarded and started on that, will that have any negative consequences considering fire season, which may be coming to an end here in a couple of months?
Actually, our fire season is already ended. They're staying open to support Texas if
Okay.
they need them.
So shouldn't be, any new construction there should not be problematic?
No.
Okay.
State Aviation is also going to give me a grant, which is a 90-10 grant for the ADB lighting project. And they've also given me a grant for the strategic plan, 90-10 as well. I did send Mr. Korn and Chad an email on the 27th, because at that time, when we put the budget in, we're doing budgets, we anticipated those funds to come from general fund because it does benefit the city as well as the air center. But neither my budget or general fund got funded, so this will help with getting the project completed with these grants.
So the city has to come up with 10% for both of those projects?
Yes.
And when you say funded, we've got authority to do that, but again, we don't have the cash in the bank, right?
Correct. The lighting project was not approved in my budget.
All right.
And sorry, and for the rest of the committee, so the way this has to work procedurally is because this would be a new expenditure in the budget and a new revenue stream in the budget. A budget amendment will be passed with permission to execute the project. Then the airport is able to initiate the procurement side.
Okay. Commissioner Sturgeon.
Mr. Chairman, hey Jennifer, on the lighting project, what's the 10% the city's got in? What's the dollar value?
The project was, for the 3 years, well, the first year is 180,000. The 3 years was
322, wasn't it?
something like that,
Something like that.
322, 350.
So 32,000. plus
I
or
think
minus.
I came up with it right, yeah.
Thank you.
That's the cost.
And the strategic plan, just so everybody remembers, we had thought, we budgeted 300,000 for that. It didn't show up in the budget, even though requested. And the cost to do the strategic plan, which we've moved forward with, is 233,000.
Correct. So the FAA is still working their project for the ELD, which is just basically rewiring to the VASIs and the PAPIs. They're 70% complete. Their target date is August 18th. July 19th, the airport and the emergency LEOs participated in the TSA emergency exercise that was required of us by TSA under the settlement agreement. We had till October 3rd to complete it. We got it done on the 19th, and it was successful.
July though.
July 19th. And the TSA is very happy. We made our deadline. Master plan is still being reviewed, and they are working on the next chapter already, so we can have something else to look at.
So.
I'm having issues with people not responding that indicated they wanted to be on the master plan, the TAC committee. And
So make those TAC committee members' names available.
yourself, you responded. You did respond. Jane Lucer has responded. The ones that haven't were Bobby Horn, Dick Taylor, Kyle Armstrong,
So 3 out of the 6
and
members?
Sarah from FA, Sarah Young.
Okay. But we can't control them, and we maybe can't control the others, but, as we've got that available, holler at me if I need to make some phone calls.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
let's go back, if we could, to the strategic plan.
Okay.
To clarify, when you said that, was that not funded in the city budget?
That's correct.
So when they set priorities, they decided it wasn't a priority.
I think it just got missed. I don't think it was, I don't think it was anything intentional. Because we had worked diligently to make that happen.
Please let the city attorney respond to that.
That might have been an error, because I was in the room when we discussed it, and I remember it getting put on the list of funded. So let's talk offline about how that might have happened, because that was definitely funded. Or at least, I recall it being funded.
Okay, not according to all the info that we got.
There have been a couple of budgets.
So we'll have an executive session on it.
Mr. Chairman, going back to master plan, sorry. Two things. When is that projected to be completed? If everybody did their part, when's that supposed to be completed? I think Armstrong's doing that, right, Mike?
That process typically takes between a year and a half if everything goes smoothly. Again, we are at the mercy of the FAA. We can get those chapters, we can submit them to the FAA. And the FAA responds, that's where everything bottoms. We can crank them out, we'll crank it out the chapters you want. It's always the FAA's part.
So what are we lacking to provide the FAA? How much of it? Nothing?
No, we're
So
on
everything's in the
target.
FAA's hands?
We're on target,
We've sent them what we have reviewed.
Yes.
So explain to me, because I don't understand, so the people that didn't respond, the Bobby Horns, Dick Taylor, Carl Armstrong, are they needed still or not?
They would take them into consideration and comments if we still receive them.
So they can still provide comments, although he's already sent stuff?
Yeah. Well, we take direction from obviously the city.
Sure.
So if the city says, keep moving on, we move on.
Okay, so
So-
we're moving on.
I told them to move on,
Okay.
but let's go on to the next chapter.
How long has it been since we ordered our last document? Just curious, just ballpark.
I was,
A couple of months ago?
yeah, it was like 2 weeks ago. This one, I think, or 3 weeks.
No, it's been a couple of months.
Oh.
She was,
Oh, the
she
first
was
set?
at the conference that,
Yeah, the first set we sent a while back, Sarah. And it goes to their lead planner for the FAA, and I think that's Jason Williams is the lead planner in Dallas. And we can always,
Don't we do a follow, just checking in?
we can absolutely do that.
Thank you.
As most, Commissioner Spiritu, just most of the first chapters of this are historical type information. And so there really are minimal to no changes in there, just some updating. The nuts and bolts of the process will occur over the next 6 to 8 months. To provide a document that's functionally usable.
That's what we provide to them to approve? Or
They
them to
send
provide
us, they send us what we had in the past. We review and change. This committee reviews and changes, sends it back to them, and they bless it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm just trying to get an understanding of the timeline to get the plan out.
I would think to get the plan out, we're looking at least 12 months.
Sir,
To get the
that's,
whole plan out.
that's fast, that's really quick for the FAA to get a master plan of airport this size. If you're talking like a Vaughn, they'll bump through those little ones pretty quick, but something of this magnitude, usually a year and a half is pretty typical.
So we'll get the documentation that we need to review and update though, probably within 12 months or so.
Typically, yeah, they try to
Okay.
keep up with all that kind of stuff
Okay.
and move it, that way it's not,
But the
Again.
total process to get it approved is 12 to 18 months.
to get in front of council and approve, we're talking probably between, yeah, a year and a half, to 2 years almost of an airport this size to get it to council.
So it's not it's a significant document that is not nearly as, my opinion, is not nearly as flexible or as usable as the strategic plan that we're working on.
Is this a update to our current plan or is it a rewrite of the current plan?
The FAA doesn't like to update anything. They kind of see this as a new direction, they see everything as new. You know, what's changed, so we go through the step one all over again and figure things out from there.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Call the standby and tell them to call Omar. Excuse me? Call the standby and ask them to get a hold of Omar. And Omar needs to call Connor because they need him, the SRE.
Okay, I think we're down to,
South Hammer.
South Hammerhead Repair.
I intended for them to start this week, because of the route that they need, the haul route for the materials, they will be starting next week. When we have, 1-7 closed, then they will be able to use that as a haul route to get all the materials over to the South Hammerhead to get that put down, and they're hoping to have it done by Friday next week.
And just so everybody remembers that South Hammerhead is where we did engine run-ups, had problems with materials at the end of the hammerhead that was blown away from where it needed to be. And the only way to fix that is fix it. So that's in the range, Jennifer, wasn't that in the range of 200,000 to fix that?
No, that was not, it was 98,000.
Okay. So 100,000,
But, that has been blown out since 2012,
okay.
so we're trying to get it, hopefully to put it back together.
Which will hopefully provide our tenants out there, additional areas to go do run-ups. It doesn't impact other things. You just gotta be cognizant of not tearing anything up again.
Yeah, they need to pay for this time, they need to pay for what they tear up.
Do those things have engine capability to spin wheels? Just the big ones, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just that, there's someone tearing them up.
Kim,
Film the whole damn thing, so you can quit whining about that plane being too close to your hangar.
he's just going on. Okay. Anything else on the South Hammerhead?
That is all I have to report on that.
Okay, update on the automobile hangars.
I So Jenna has been in touch with Cayman Carter, and he's looking at coming for a site visit this fall. On a location to construct those, hangars.
But we have had several folks out there already, colleges out there, who have asked about the siting, the location of them.
Right, and
And
looking
use them.
for a covered, we're looking for covered parking.
Right, well, covered and enclosed parking.
Yes.
So even though we kind of didn't think that may be a big deal, apparently there's going to be some demand for that, so that's good. And it's still, it's not set for sure, but Jennifer, it's still location-wise situated on the north side of Earl Cummins, right? In that small
Correct.
paved parking lot?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And eventually we may put something over to Aflac or something.
Yes.
Could be.
We're gonna show them all those sites for the actual things.
Okay.
Range Rover somewhere.
All right, item number 8, Jennifer.
Our passenger parking lot, as of this 23rd, it is 68% completed for areas 1 and 4. Paving was to begin today, but they're having an issue with the pump, and so just waiting. Maybe the next day or two, they'll have some asphalt down.
So the one large parking lot is completed and striped,
It is, we still need to still coat it.
right? So they're not parking on that yet. Of course, we're gonna have to redo some signage on that,
Yes.
redo some street. And are we not still anticipating there should be an adequate funding to resurface and restripe in front of the terminal?
We're looking to see what funding is left, if you want to know on that one.
Okay,
Yeah, we're looking at, see what more we can get on that.
so that would upgrade that entire area out there pretty significantly.
This slide here, I'll go ahead to the next one, okay, she's got 13 vacant properties out there. I spoke to a company today, I offered them several of those, so they were gonna drive around and take a look and see if anything would accommodate them.
Yes, sir, I've got information from Jen on those things.
Okay.
So we're working through
All right.
price and stuff on that too.
So we do have some existing tenants that are looking at some of the spaces out there also.
Yes.
Looks like we keep having more T hangers.
We had another T hanger become vacant, the gentleman moved back east with his family.
Are all those doors and everything working in those good enough to use to rent them or not?
Yeah, we've been working on the rollers and, to keep them moving. I think Mr. Walker needs his done, but he's gonna be gone for quite some time, so he's going to get back to me whenever he's back in town.
Problem.
And her lease summary report. There are 93 buildings and parcels. We have 44 of those as commercial. Non-aeronautical is 39. She's got 13 that she is working on to get, that leases have expired and need to come under contract.
So we've
they're in
got
holdover.
13 holdovers right now? That's quite a bit more than we've had.
That's what she's showing on that report. 8 of them are the
Yeah,
GAs,
that's 13.
so I think all those are coming out of 91.
Okay.
That's behind them, but right there.
That's where the 8 is?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I said. That's what I said.
Convenient phone call.
Sorry. So on the, actually tabled all the action items.
So that is the shortest meeting we've ever had.
Mr. Chairman, if you would entertain a motion under 1015-1H7 and 8, to move into executive session, that would be the next one.
I would so entertain a motion. Do I hear a motion to that effect?
So
Do I hear a second? All those in favor signify so by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. For those of you that need to leave the area, we appreciate your
This conference will now be recorded.
You push yourself back.
You know, say,
You know,
So we're gonna come back into regular session, and we made no decisions in reference to any legal issues.
correct.
Okay.
Only attorney-client privilege matters were discussed during the session.
Okay. Only attorney-client privilege
And
matters
rights.
are discussed.
Negotiation.
Okay, so, we're coming out of closed session. Are there any comments?
The camera's still, hold on. Okay.
Are there any comments by the commissioners in reference to future agenda items? I know what we're doing is we're continuing to review, but we've got a bunch of different things that we're on with. So if you have a desire for future agenda items, please get with me in the next week to 10 days, because we'll be working on September next. Any reports from any of the staff, from any of the commissioners? Do we have any public participation, Lisa?
I just would like to let you all know that I did talk to a company this afternoon, Aeromac. They're an R&D out of Everett, Washington, looking to come down and do some brake work. They're Part 25 brake tests. They're making some kind of a component.
Manufacturing parts.
Yeah, and anyway, they're looking at us for February. I did invite her down here to come down during the time Boeing's here, so she can see how that operation runs. And she's very excited, and I think we'll see her then, so I'll be able to take her around and show her the field. This will be a new company that's coming for testing.
Okay, that's good. We're one of the few places that can do that.
will that generate, Mr. Chairman, will that generate, more activity to jobs, blah, 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 that I can easily.
They're just coming in like Boeing would be for
Okay.
testing.
Around par, hotel.
Okay,
There's nobody online.
no public participation. Do I hear a motion to adjourn the meeting? So moved.
Second.
Second, moved and seconded. All those in favor signify so by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries, meeting adjourned. Thank you. Did you get the first and second?
Yes.
Hitchcock first,